You ever get a new phone?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Because when the new one comes out, my old phone is immediately obsolete.
So are you you immediately upgrade to the next one right away?
No, probably like 3 months after. I wait for the updates to come through and stuff.
And then you wait for like the line to be kind of manageable.
Yeah, I don't want to have to wait after I buy something.
How about you? You get it right away?
I'm like the most late tech guy anybody knows.
So you're not like what you rocking a 14 right now?
No, I got the newest one.
You're a 16.
But before the 16, I had the 13.
Whoa.
You jumped 3 levels?
Yes, 3 levels.
You went 13, 16?
Yes.
You should have said hi to 14, 15. They were great.
What? That's like a horse to a car. Like, what are we talking about?
You went from a black and white to a 4K?
I like to take these big leaps.
Oh my gosh, I guess. Oh my gosh. What was it like when you got the 16? Were you just like, wow?
I was like, wow, this is what the future feels
like. Did it hurt your eyes? Like, what?
I'm like, I can see again.
I put my son to bed last night and he's like, Dad, he's like, can I ask you something? I was like, yeah, for sure. I thought like, here we go. We're having the talk. How come you don't have the 16?
Not real.
How come you don't have the 16? Dad, I want to know. How come you didn't?
How often does he ask you for a phone?
And I'm just, not that often because it's been shut down so aggressively. Yeah. But he's like, hey, can I ask you something? Yeah, for sure, bud. Like, here we go. So what are we talking about? Drugs? And he's, yeah. How come you don't have the 16? What? And then they're so upset because this is my new phone case. Because from texting, I tear this thing up.
Right.
Yep.
From texting too much, right?
Do you hold it on your pinky?
Yeah, sometimes.
Like people have divots in their pinkies now.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's a problem.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I hold it right there. Yep. And so then it gets the other day we were in Target, just looking for my book. We're in Target and I didn't have the energy to go to another store. So what did Target have left for phone cases for the 15 Pro? This is the only option.
One color.
So I was like, I've been through every color Apple has. I've never had this color. So I'm like, let's try it. So now my sons are like so mad that I don't A, have the 16, and B, why is this your phone case color?
Blush pink.
I'm not mad at this color. Like I'm so secure.
I totally thought it was Julia's. I'm not gonna lie. I totally thought it was Julia's.
100%. And I'm like, I'm fine.
Oh no, I'm secure.
Yeah, I'm secure. Sure. Now, here's the thing. Let me ask you about your laptop. Do you, on your laptop, immediately do the upgrade, like the new system?
That I do.
Right away?
Right away.
No, it's the exact opposite. My computer, like, buttons don't work anymore before I have to.
See, I think it's either one or the other. I think it's A to Z. I think it's either you do it like yourself, you're responsible. Your whole life is on a laptop.
Always.
Yeah.
You type.
I type
all
faster
day
than anything else.
The whole day. You're managing logistics. You're managing everything all day.
That's my
iMessage on the computer, though, is elite.
Where would you be without iMessage on the computer? I'd be back with the 13.
13.
I'd be with the pink phone case.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it's a distraction sometimes. I feel like sometimes the iMessage can wait and the email's got to take priority because a lot of business is being handled through, your emails, and a lot of just, hey, let's hang out. You want to grab coffee?
Yeah,
let's take a meeting. It's all on iMessage.
If you're running your whole business through iMessage, it sounds like questionable business. Yeah.
But I will say it feels like a luxury. Like it feels like a cheat code. It's not a cheat code. It's just part of life. But it feels like a cheat code.
Yeah. Unless you're trying to find an emoji on that thing.
Oh man, yeah.
On the
slows
computer.
you down. Slows you down a little bit. Yeah. But yeah. So I am just trying to confess here that I have a pink phone case and an old phone. Let's go. Welcome, everybody, to Leadership Lean In. We are leaning into the subject of leadership just to get a little bit better. Thank you to every person that likes, subscribes, comments to our podcast. You're the greatest nation I have ever known. I've been to a lot of nations. I just got a new passport recently. Sad to see the old one go because of all the stamps. You kind of
nostalgic. Yeah.
You got a lot of stamps on your passport, but so I got a new one. But I got to admit, of all the nations I've ever visited, Leaner Nation is the greatest nation. Thank you for leaning in and be a part of our journey together. Hey, by the way, thank you to every person that bought the book and also those that have left or are leaving a review on Amazon. Helps us so much. When you leave a review on Amazon, you would not believe how much that helps us. So go leave a review on Amazon. And if it's a 3-star, just keep doing whatever you're doing. If it's 5-star, please hit that thing ASAP. Let us know what you thought of the book. We're jumping in today. I got a good friend. I told Jerry the other day at the Barnes and Noble book signing, I walked up to him and go, hey, listen, I got a lot of friends here tonight. I got a lot of friends, but I only got one brother. Jerry Meng is on.
What's good?
That's right.
Happy to be
Man,
here.
thank you so much for being on.
Of course, man.
We obviously hang out a lot. We spend a lot of time together.
We do.
And the greatest thing that you have given me, besides the gift of your friendship, is this incredible. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
I've never been more proud to represent a sushi establishment in my life.
I thought when I first saw you wear that you were so impacted by their food that you're like, hey, do you guys got any merch? Like, I gotta rep this.
No, it's always my favorite hoodie that he wears. So finally the other day I was like, God, it's the best hoodie. He's like, do you want one? Like my passive aggressive nature wore off enough to where like, he's like, do you want
Here,
one?
I got one for you.
Yeah.
After 8 times of mentioning it, every time I wear it, you're like, it's such a great hoodie.
Wow,
Man,
do I
where do you
love
get
those
that?
Travis Scotts. Those are incredible.
Take it off my foot.
Wow, what a Tesla.
Is he doing it right now?
He's doing it. He's doing the same thing you did with that hoodie.
Jerry, thank you
It
so much
works.
for being on, and thank you for being you. For those of you that don't know Jerry Meng, he is the unofficial mayor of Los Angeles. He runs the city. He is the food connoisseur expert of LA. And how long have you been living in LA?
Almost all my life. Yeah.
Almost your whole life.
Yep.
And what if you look back on some eras of LA, what do you think are like prime LA years where you're like LA was hopping? LA was so good in these years, these eras. Like you've seen it in so many different stages.
Ooh, yeah.
When do you love LA?
Well, I mean, I think now it's having a nice little renaissance back again because I think the Koreatown area is really flourishing. Food culture, I think, is at all-time high.
All time.
I mean, you could drop you could say Middle Eastern and boom, there's 18 places that you can go to. You could say, I want Chinese food and you go to the San Gabriel Valley. You know, you can say you want like a good steak and you could probably name off like 7 good steak spots, you know?
Wow.
So, but I would say the 90s was definitely an era. 2000-ish, Y2K, that kind of craziness. I think there was a lot of people trying to leave New York, coming to the West Coast. I think we felt a little bit of that.
So you remember when it was like, wow, a lot of New Yorkers are showing up here.
I remember I've always a fan of New York's movement. I felt like New York always has some type of energy and they will always be like, oh, we're 3 hours ahead of you guys. So, we grind a little bit harder. And I was like, that's weird because I grind pretty hard too. So I had to study you guys. I'm a student. So I wanted to study and be like, oh, wow. The art scene was emerging. I think just in general, the sneaker culture, the streetwear culture, you can't leave out the East Coast ever when it comes to that. Plus hip hop, they claim to be, that's for the birth of hip hop. So for us, it's like, it was always like an East Coast, West Coast thing. And, the more I could find cool things about LA to let my friends know, the more I wanted to, be on top of it. So, yeah.
So if you were to today rate today's LA era, would you put it at one of the top kind of like moments LA has had in the history of your life here?
I think right now is a really tough part of LA. I think leadership has to change. I think it has to, from top down. I think governor to Senate to even like local mayors. Like I think there's a lot of things that have to change because different policies has been asserted, and I think it affects not only families but it also affects small business and medium-sized businesses.
Yeah.
You know.
There's still a lot of room for growth and change, obviously, in LA. I think the rest of the outside world would see that
Yeah.
that LA needs a lot of improvement. But I feel like you have a different grasp and understanding on LA because you know the food scene so well, you know
Right.
the culture, you know the
Right.
the streetwear, hip hop, all that, you know, which is to me such a different world of experience of the city. That you have obviously a homeless crisis and a lot of different issues that we're facing, but you still have some parts of the city that you can love and embrace and experience and makes it so enjoyable.
Yeah.
Top 5, if you were to say top 5 food places that you have to go. Somebody's coming from New York and you're like, okay, you're here for a weekend, you got 3 days, you have to go to these 5 places. What are your top 5 places that people have to visit while they're here, food-wise?
Food-wise, I would say top 5. One would be Sushi Gen. That's something that I would always recommend.
Represent.
Best sushi, price is fair. I think it's I mean, it's a little hard to get in nowadays because of the TikTokers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But Sushi Gen, I would say Bavel in downtown. I would still
Crazy.
say Safi, same owners. Safi,
Same guy, yep.
Great. Chispaca. I just took my girl to Capo in
Yep.
Santa Monica. I love that place.
Yep.
Small and quaint, you know, got a nice open fire. Like, it's just a beautiful little
Yep.
situation by the beach. I also like Providence. I don't know if it's still around, but Providence was like a Michelin star. It's been around for years.
Where is that? What area?
It's on Melrose.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Hollywood.
Okay.
Right. And then I mean, there's like Moza. There's
So many
the
options.
the list goes on and on. you
Crazy.
know?
Best coffee in LA. What do you think it is?
Right now, Maru.
I think it's number 1.
It's so good.
I mean, but this guy's a coffee.
This guy
expert,
knows, yeah.
So you know, I
No,
follow
you can't
his
go
lead.
wrong with Maru. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
he flexes every day when he walks in with his Starbucks cup. It's
Okay,
pretty
okay.
crazy. No, but I think Maru. I think that's the best coffee in all of LA is Maru coffee, 100%. Tell me, you have worked with the biggest names in Hollywood, the biggest names in all of culture, helping them, working alongside of them, serving them, fulfilling, you know, distribution for them. What makes someone great in your eyes? Not necessarily even notoriety, but like when you get around greatness and you get around, you've seen all kinds of leaders in this city. What makes a leader great in your opinion?
Their team.
Wow.
Their team makes them great
Wow.
because sometimes I don't even see the client. I see the team
Wow.
and how they mobilize and how they treat people. I think, you know, how you handle anything is how you handle everything, right?
That's
It's
right.
like, I think one of the things is just watch how they speak when they're around certain people. Are they putting down their own team? Are they screaming at them? Are they, you know, acting in a certain way where it doesn't align with your values and how you would walk, right? So I think it changed me because over time, like I think I used to be that person where it was just like it was like my way or the highway, or like I was really putting down the hammer. And I realized that, you know what, that's not the best way to do stuff. You know, and some people have a different strategy or approach. And people are like, you know, Steve Jobs, he's great, he's this, he's that. But like, I never met him personally, but I'm sure he's a fantastic mind and an
Genius,
entrepreneur.
yeah.
But how do you treat the people around you? I think that's really important.
Was there like a catalyst for you when you were like, hey, I used to be like this, and then I saw a different way, or was there a moment?
Yeah, I think, you know, in every phase of your career, whether it's in the beginning stages, it's you always go with your eyes wide open, just trying to like take everything in, right? And you start to learn certain habits. And once you start to understand those habits, it then becomes you. You start to learn the way you show up. Are you always on time? Are you early? Are you a procrastinator? You know, do you always say later? Is later a thing for you? And you got to pick up on these things, because if you don't, it becomes you, right? So it's about repetition. It's about being consistent. It's not about the one-time thing. It's not about like, oh, this guy showed up to me one time. It's like, do you show up all the time? And how do you show up? Do you show up with a bad attitude, or you show up with a great attitude? And I think those are the things that really define what a good leader is, or a bad leader, or a great leader.
Yeah.
So
Let's play law of opposite, because I always like to look at the strength versus the weakness. So if you go, that's what a great leader does. In your opinion, especially in this town, you've been around some slimy creatures.
Right.
You've been around some guys, some snakes, some guys that just are weak. We call these ones strong, those ones are weak. What is a weak leader? When I use the verbiage weak leader, what makes someone weak?
I think what makes somebody weak is somebody who doesn't take accountability in anything that they do. It's always them, not me. It's always somebody else that's the problem. And it's like, okay, well, maybe for the first few times, but then after the 10th time, it's everybody else but you. I don't know about that, man. You got to kind of like check yourself.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that are considered powerful places, they kind of lose sight of what got them there to begin with, So also humility, going back to your book, it's like it's everything. It's humbling yourself before not just the Lord, but you just got to humble yourself. If you have partners, just understand what your partner's wants and needs are, because I think at one point I was kind of battling it out with my partners, and I was like, man, is this battle really worth is it worth the fight?
Wow.
Like sometimes you just got to drop certain things. Or
Yeah.
I think there was a few times where I brought something up to your attention, and you're like, you know what, Jerry, I think what's happening is God's moving your life, and just look at the side where it's the blessing. It's actually later down the road, you're going to look back and be like, wow, God is actually making this happen for you.
Yeah.
You don't see it right now, but because you're in the middle of a war, right? So I think it's in hindsight, you look back and go, oh, it all starts to make sense, and why I got to this position, or why it all happened this way,
I think one of the things that comes to mind when I think about you is two words: hospitality and generosity.
Oh, thanks.
You
man.
have the gift of hospitality. Where did you learn that? How did you learn to host people so well, take care of people? Like where did you pick that up, that skill, that and also the desire to do that?
I don't know, man. I think like it was such an interesting thing, because my mom passed in 2000, and when I was growing up, my mom would always mention to my family members that when I was a child, like when I was maybe like 3 or 4 years old, and my sister was a year and a half older than me, when she was sleeping, or when there was always like my cousins or whatever around me, I would always put the blanket on them, or I would always like try to comfort them, or like
Wow.
if they're crying, or
Wow.
And I would always want to like it was just in me to take care of certain things. And I felt like, I don't know, it's just a thing where it clicks. It's like to be of service is a privilege.
Wow.
Because I don't know why, but I felt like God has blessed me with so much stuff. Even suffering such catastrophic losses in my life, I feel like God just kept on blessing me, blessing with the people that have been, there to look after me, or to mentor me, or to give me certain types of advice or comfort. And I just felt like, wow, I wasn't deserving of all this. I never asked for it, and it was just given to me. So how do I reciprocate that, right? I think you always say you can't outgive God. And,
You can't.
And it stuck to me. It's like, you're right. No matter what I do, I can't outgive God. And it's just like the abundance of it just keeps coming. But we're not supposed to hold on to all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like jewelry or possessions or belongings. Like, okay, big deal. I get a car. Oh, cool. Like, but don't make that into a thing, because the real journey, the real purpose, the real progress that comes from all this is the fact that it's this thing called life that you celebrate with, your memories, the friends and family, and all that. So I think it was always a part. I don't think I learned it. I don't think somebody says, you know what, you need to be more generous. I just thought it was just a part of me that was. I think that's a gift that God has placed on me, and I love to exercise that. Some people look at it as like, oh, come on, man, like, but you might get taken advantage of. Or I said, for what? What are you gonna take?
Yeah. What are they gonna take?
Like,
I'm willing to give it.
I'm willing to give it.
Wow.
I'm willing to give it cheerfully.
Wow.
Right? You got to be cheerful.
Have to.
Because if you're not, then you're gonna be stuck with some type of resentment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Generosity with expectation is called an investment.
That's
They're
right.
two different words. You can't be generous and expect something on the other side
right.
too.
Yeah, and I just don't appreciate people that give with a string attached.
No.
And I think you've seen it probably 1,000 times in LA. LA is so tick for tack. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. So if I gave to you that I expect down the road, you're going to give to me. I didn't give you those tickets for free or that sweatshirt for free or whatever, fill in the blank. I'm keeping all the receipts on generosity.
Yeah.
How did you get rid of the receipts? How did you give freely with no expectations down the road? How did you learn that?
I feel like if you keep receipts, what's gonna happen is you're always gonna think that somebody owes you something.
Yeah.
Nobody owes you anything.
Man.
Nobody.
Nothing.
The only thing that is owed to you is probably your spouse and your covenant, your agreement to that, right?
Your contract,
you owe that contract, or maybe like a contract that you do in business, but like nobody owes you anything. And if somebody does keep the receipts, I'm very mindful of making sure I'm not asking.
No.
Because I don't want that string attached.
Yeah.
You know?
No. It's scary to me.
Because it just feels like, wait, what did I just get myself into?
That's right.
That's right. Nobody told me that I was getting into that.
Right.
Yeah, I had a friend one time tell me how generous they were to a mutual friend of ours. And so they didn't realize that while they were telling me all the receipts they had on the generosity of our friend, it was signaling to me, don't ever receive anything from this person because they're going to remember it and they're going to hold it over your head.
Correct.
And that's how you develop resentment. I think that's weak leadership. When we talk about the difference between strength and weakness, that's weak leadership. Tell me about work ethic, because again, I think you've gotten to where you are. You own how many warehouses now?
2.
And you're in what are we?
I'm sorry. We have 2 warehouses. We're in escrow for
a third. I was going to say, I think we're in third. We're about to have 3 in Jesus' name. We're about to have that third one. Hit me with a Nick Saban on this question. I'm telling you, that's
Jerry.
That's Jerry right there.
That's Jerry.
Jerry works Christmas week. You know what I mean? Nobody works
From Bali though.
after
From Bali.
Christmas. Yeah, nobody. Yeah. Nobody works harder.
Yeah,
Nobody.
it's true.
You know, I have a confession though.
Okay.
Like ever since taking the day of rest,
Yeah.
has been instilled. Like starting to go to Zoe like 8 years back. I have been resting a lot more.
Good.
And it's been advantageous. I can't. I don't even know. It was weird because I used to work, grind. Everybody's like, "Oh my, this guy works every single." I would bring a iPad or a laptop to a brunch, and people are just like, "What's wrong with this kid?" Right? While we're drinking like champagne or whatever and having the best time of our life, I would bring a laptop with me.
Still working.
Yeah, and I think just you need that rest.
Oh
It's
my
really
gosh.
important.
You know, it's crazy. You know, Dr. Conley, you know who that is? He's going through his own little spout right now, right? He's talking about getting canceled. My God, this guy's getting killed. You know, Dr. Conley comes to the church and whenever I have an issue with my teeth, I go to his office and some of his assistants, you know, they come around and they're great. One of them is a Jewish lady that she takes 24 hours away from her phone to dedicate with her family from Friday when the sun goes down to Saturday when the sun goes down.
I love that.
And I just think, how happy would you be if you truly took 24 hours to unplug? I call it Christmas Day once a week.
Yeah.
And
So
if you
good.
have it, I think you'll be fine. Like, I think you'll make it. If you violate the way that God told us to live, I don't think you'll make it. I think you'll somehow blow a gasket or mess up or make a dumb decision because you didn't walk in God's design.
That's right.
You mess up your whole life.
That's right.
So
iPhone 13. That was
I
like.
was gonna say,
all
yeah,
the-
I was trying to take it back to the 13. I was gonna take it back to the 13. But I think talk to me about work ethic. What is it about a leader? I showed this, let me show you this photo. I showed this photo to the staff this morning. This is from the great Clayton Barnes. And I just think this is one of the best photos I've ever seen. This is you right here. We're gonna have to get a close up on this photo. This thing is a bar right here. Look at this. Motivation versus discipline.
There it is.
That's right.
And that's the problem with leadership. People get motivated, and they have a week or two.
Yeah.
And discipline is just what I said it in the last podcast, but greatness is boring.
Mm-hmm.
To be great means you're boring. I live a boring life. My life is so boring. I just do the same thing every day. It's work, kids, family, work, out, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. Talk to me about your work ethic. How did you develop such a drive to work so hard and be so disciplined?
Okay, I'm gonna take it all the way back to when I was working at this insurance company. My old boss, who hired me on the spot because he was like, "If you're going to be dating my sister, no,
There's
for real."
context for you.
And he changed my life. Till this day, we're still good friends. I don't talk to her anymore, but obviously, like he's still my boy. He said, if you're gonna date my sister, you need a job or go to school. This is like literally right out of high school. And I'm just like, man, I'm struggling so hard with school. I'm like, give me a job.
Right.
I think I go to like Burlington Coat Factory because that was like one of my first jobs. I got myself a tie and I looked like probably didn't even know how to put on a tie.
Right.
And I didn't know anything about computers, but he says, just tell the GM you know a lot about computers and you're eager to learn. And I'm like, so basically lie? I'm like, okay, let's do it.
All right.
I'm in.
What?
But don't do that. That doesn't make a good leader.
Not my first
But
time.
it'll get you inside. It'll get you your foot in the door. And he just showed me how everything has a solution. But he never taught me. He never gave me the recipe to do it. He would just, because I was a night operator, he would stay on the phone and just be patient with me. But also, I was so upset at him because I know he had the answers, but he wouldn't give it to me. But he would stay up till the wee like 3-4 in the morning because I was a night operator, and I was so frustrated at him. I'm like, why don't you just tell me? Because I just want to go home. And it just clicked. I'm like, if he gave me the recipe, I would always rely on him. I need to figure things out on my own. So the recipe for that like hard grind is just do the work. Don't just be like Google it. Like really understand how to learn how to do it.
Wow.
And I had to learn how to do it.
Wow.
And I figured out like, wow, what he was really teaching me was that I could do it on my own.
Come on.
Figure it out yourself.
Come
dude.
on.
Although the support is there, you could ask him for the answers and stuff. He was not just going to give it to me. And I don't think he understood what he was doing to me at that time because he was still kind of. I thought maybe he was just he was resentful because I was dating his sister.
This is his payback.
I thought it was payback, but years down the line, he complimented me. This is like probably 2 years ago. He goes, "Man, I'm really proud of you. You came a long way, in terms of like all of us, you out of everybody, came out of, this, I guess you would call it this camp, because we were all in the same like tech computer style business. And then I just veered and I started doing, I became my own entrepreneur.
Wow.
So.
And killed it.
Well, I mean, my partners, I got to give it up, It's like,
Yeah.
Something that he read your book. There's a humility piece right here that you're not telling us, Jerry.
He was long before the book. The book was inspired out of his life. He's unbelievable. Last question. I want to just ask you about relationships because you preserve relationships so well. You're such a committed friend.
Right.
I just signed a bunch of books for you in the last couple of days, all gifts that you're giving to people.
Yep.
And every name that you told me, this one's for Cecilia, this one's for Tori, this one's for, and every person I could feel means something to you.
Yes.
You collect friends. Talk to me about being a leader that values relationship, and where do some leaders miss it when it comes to relationships?
Ooh, I mean, I wish I could give more. I have a longer list than that, but I try to stick with 24 because of Kobe, and then I have my rules too.
Yeah, come on, man.
Wow.
And sometimes some people get cut on that list, but that doesn't mean I forget about them.
No, we like you, but
right.
you didn't make the list.
You didn't make
dog.
the list.
24.
No, well, the thing is, it's like I would not be here today if it wasn't for these individuals that kind of bless my life in so many different ways.
Wow.
Whether it's a former assistant or somebody that has been in business with me or grew up with me. You know, like Doug, we've been together, like we've been friends since, I mean, I was like in 8th grade.
Whoa.
Wow.
You know, and he's seen me through everything. He's been around, you know, toughest losses, biggest wins, starting new businesses, you know, like he was an integral part of my growth, and I can't discount that. I remember when I was doing the Hollywood promotion stuff, a few friends of mine were like, dude, you're getting really Hollywood on me. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm in Hollywood. I'm like, wait, what do I do? Like,
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, like you're really showing your true colors, and I'm like, yeah, I guess so, but you know what? It actually was a reflection. It was like, am I really changing? Am I for the good though, or for the worse?
Wow.
Because if you can't take that type of criticism,
Yep.
I don't know, man. You're gonna live a really tough life. I think in life it's about taking in the good, the bad, and process and actually digest it. What are they trying to tell you?
Wow.
Because there is some truth to that, right?
Wow.
And then it brings you right back to the roots.
Wow.
Who brought you here?
Yep.
Who do you got to give credit to?
Wow.
Because you didn't do it all yourself.
That's right.
And the first thing you do, I mean, look at the biggest people that win the award. Who do they give it to? God.
First.
Family.
Wow.
Mom, dad, whoever, sister, brother,
Yep.
right?
You're the
Friends,
real
family,
MVP.
siblings,
Yep.
spouse. So if you don't give the credit to them or give them the roses while they're here,
Wow.
what are you going to live with?
That's it.
You know? So
Huge. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I just appreciate the way that you see life, the way you see our
man.
city, the way you see your faith. You're an inspiration to me. You're just a constant refreshment to me. You just refresh me constantly and just mean the world to me. I'm just really respect you a lot, and we're grateful to have you, not just on the pod, but we're grateful to have you
awesome. Thank you.
in our world. So thank you so much.
I
And
love
you
it.
better take those Rex. I hope you were taking notes.
The food Rex.
The food Rex. I hope you Maru. Are you kidding me? Ohio, are you out there? Ohio, get on the plane. Pennsylvania, get on the plane. Texas. This is so funny at Pastors Gathering. I shot out all these places, you know, that come. There's people from all over America, you know, other countries. And then this pastor walked up. He said, man, you shouted out everybody but Texas. I said, oh, I don't talk about the Cowboys. We love you, Leader Nation. Have the best day, and we'll see you next episode.